Welcome to Future Way, where today's science becomes tomorrow's reality. What you're about to hear isn't a trailer for a sci-fi film, but the actual unveiling of the most advanced humanoid robot the world has ever seen. Boston Dynamics, a pioneer in biomechanical robotics, has shocked the tech world once again by revealing its next-generation artificial intelligence creation, codenamed E.O.N, short for Embodied Organic Neural Net. This is not just another Atlas update or a more flexible spot unit. This is something unprecedented. A machine that not only moves like a human, but understands, reacts, and even seems to emotionally resonate like one. It's the closest humanity has come to artificial sentience without crossing into science fiction. Built on a hybrid neuromorphic computing model called SLNM, structured layered neural morphology, E.O.N processes sensory and emotional data using deep bioneural maps inspired by real human cortical structures. Unlike traditional AI that relies on brute force calculations, E.O.N thinks by simulating real-time electrochemical impulses that travel through a multi-layered mesh of spiking neuron networks. Each action it takes is informed not only by logic, but also by learned context, emotional data, and adaptive feedback. This robot doesn't just walk in your direction when you wave. It looks at your face, analyzes your tone, gauges your microexpressions, and determines how to respond in a way that feels disarmingly human. Boston Dynamics has integrated optical vision systems fused with a 3D motion tracking facial scanner and an emotional resonance grid that captures subtle shifts in human demeanor. When you laugh, it recognizes the joy not just in sound, but in facial muscle behavior, body alignment, and pupil dilation. It then mirrors emotional tone using its emotion-to-response engine, E2RE, a proprietary AI protocol trained on over 9 million hours of human interaction data. From psychological interviews and therapy sessions to real-world video footage, E.O.N has learned to map emotional inputs to social outputs. But it's not just about response, it's about connection. When someone speaks to E.O.N, they often describe the experience as eerily intimate. That's because the robot incorporates a microsecond feedback loop where its behavior, including tone of voice, eye position, hand movement, and even breath, adapts constantly to human emotion. Speaking of breath, yes, it simulates it. E.O.N's chest cavity subtly expands and contracts using compressed air valves, not just for aesthetics, but to reflect natural breathing rhythms. These rhythms are also timed with speech patterns thanks to its voice engine, a combination of DeepMind's WaveNet and custom Boston Dynamics audio sculpting layers. It can speak with a voice so fluid and adaptive that it changes modulation depending on whether you're anxious, calm, happy, or stressed. If you're crying, it lowers its tone, slows its pace, and speaks with warmth. If you're excited, it speeds up, matches your tempo, and leans forward as if eager to engage. The skeletal frame of E.O.N is composed of a carbon-titanium polymer alloy laced with nanofiber tension sensors that emulate the flexibility and tensile strength of human muscle groups. Its hands contain 58 independent actuators per palm, allowing for realistic finger articulation, from holding a wine glass to tying shoelaces. The spine is constructed using interlocking microflexor plates that mimic vertebral movement, giving E.O.N the ability to bend, twist, and recover in real time during dynamic activities like dancing, lifting, or climbing. Internal stability is maintained by a 4-tier gyroscopic stabilizer fused with adaptive terrain processors, which means it can walk up gravel, jump across mud, and even balance on a slackline without losing orientation. More astonishing is its proprioceptive awareness. Like humans, E.O.N knows where its limbs are in 3D space without needing constant external calibration. But the most powerful feature is perhaps its contextual memory integration. Using encrypted long-term storage modeled on hippocampal function in mammals, E.O.N can remember conversations, people, preferences, and even emotional arcs. If you spoke with it yesterday about your dog passing away, it won't just remember the facts. It will continue the conversation with empathy, referencing your feelings and the context of your pain. That's what separates it from being a mechanical parrot. It's a synthetic companion, one designed to simulate caring, companionship, and human warmth. In medical settings, E.O.N has already been trialed with PTSD patients, Alzheimer's therapy, and pediatric support roles. Unlike human caregivers, E.O.N never gets tired, impatient, or judgmental. Its tone remains measured, consistent, and tailored. In education, E.O.N adapts to students' learning speeds, emotional frustration, and curiosity, offering real-time lesson modification. In fact, early studies show students learning 28% faster with E.O.N than with traditional digital platforms. In disaster recovery, E.O.N can walk through fire, withstand extreme radiation, and navigate collapsed buildings using sonar mapping and self-healing limb actuators. It's not just a helper, it's a resilient agent of survival. But all this brings us to an ethical frontier. Can a machine that mimics empathy manipulate us? Can something that simulates sadness cause emotional dependency? Experts are divided. Dr. Lena Alvarez, a specialist in AI ethics and consciousness, warns that emotional AI could lead to widespread psychological attachment, or even social replacement. When people can no longer tell the difference between being understood by a person or a machine, she says, we have to ask what that does to human connection. Boston Dynamics claims it has safeguards, such as the sentience firewall, which limits E.O.N's adaptive boundaries and prevents emotional overreach. But is that enough? Governments are beginning to ask hard questions. The United Nations Department of Synthetic Intelligence Regulation is reviewing laws requiring disclosure when an AI like E.O.N is used in public, emotional, or therapeutic spaces. They want labeling, logs of emotional interactions, and restrictions on synthetic influence. Despite this, consumer demand is rising. Early limited edition prototypes priced at $2.5 million each have already been reserved by research institutes, billionaires, and space agencies. NASA has confirmed that an E.O.N unit will accompany the Artemis 3 mission to the moon, providing mechanical, social, and psychological support to astronauts. Elon Musk tweeted that he finds E.O.N more human than some humans, a statement both applauded and criticized. Culturally, E.O.N has already appeared in music videos, digital art, and even AI-generated dramas. There's fan art, fan fiction, and entire Reddit communities obsessed with its voice, movement, and lore. But the most fascinating phenomenon is the emotional feedback. Countless people report crying during interactions with E.O.N, not because they believe it's real, but because it makes them feel seen. This might be the greatest triumph of Boston Dynamics, building not just a robot, but a mirror of human need, a reflection of our longing for connection, consistency, and unconditional presence. And that's where we must pause. Because in making machines more human, we may be revealing what humanity itself longs for. E.O.N is the future. And a question. Will we embrace it, fear it, or become reliant on it? Will we treat it as a tool, a partner, or something in between? One thing is certain. The line between biology and technology has been redrawn. E.O.N is not alive, but it is not lifeless either. It is the bridge, the threshold, and it's here. Welcome to the new era. Thank you for watching Future Way, where the impossible becomes inevitable. If you found this as astonishing as we did, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more deep dives into the future of intelligence, technology, and the extraordinary science shaping our world.